decided to set up a foundation on her name. Her name was Sumitra. So it was a Sumitra Foundation that I set up at that time. I did not, as a civil servant, I did not have much money. So how do I get the funds? I tried to go here and there, trying to get some money from this world organizations, but without much success. So I sold my house. And at that time I was also very much interested in solar energy because I had attended a conference in Harare, in Zimbabwe, in which the UNESCO has launched a 10-year program on solar energy. So France and myself, we went to Buster, and we eventually, practically all the money that I had got from the sale of my house, we spent there almost 4 crores of rupees to set up 40 health and education centers there. And then again I was once again without money, World Bank and this and that, but not very.
Always a pleasure to have a friend to talk to. You've been an artist, a scholar, a writer, a photographer, and above all a diplomat for close to half a century. And before we move on into details about your work, I just want to ask you a general question. What is it that has made you tick? How has your adrenaline flown in so many areas over 50 years?
I was at a loss to reply as to what I should say. Then in the end I said maybe it is all a whole comprehensive kind of a background and then a series of struggles, what happened during the partition of India, then when we were arranging all the communal harmony exhibitions, and so it is a whole composite areas in which you in the younger days you work for, and then it keeps on projecting itself and reinterpreting itself in different ways. But the unfortunate part of it is that it never ended. I have relived it over and over again. The 17 countries I served, not exactly the same time, but for example, I was in Vietnam, I was in Uganda during the Idi Amin's time, I was in Rwanda and Burundi, I was in Yugoslavia, I was in... So what happens is that what I have been seeing, it becomes so real to me because I've been on the spot where all this thing is happening, all this violence and all this kind of thing.
Let me, as far as UNESCO is concerned, also tell you, is this, you're a science student, I know. Is this a way of coming back to your roots where art and science are brought together in a synthesis?
Right, I think you're quite right, because you see, science and culture and traditional way of our living from the very beginning has never been a separate thing. In the olden days, it was always together. There was no divisiveness, there was no separation. Actually, this separation actually starts during the Industrial Revolution. After the Industrial Revolution, that the science and culture began to get apart. And but if you bring the science and culture together, there cannot be no harmony of living in a society which is in peace with itself. You see, for example, now all the question of environment and the question of all the ozone layer in the atmosphere and all these problems that we are beginning to have is because here the science and the ecology and the people's living has to be connected together. And this again, then I go back to my roots when we started the independence movement, in which we wanted to sort of champion the cause of the downtrodden, the deprived people.
I'm really delighted once again because 3 years ago, Mr. Federico Mayor in this very hall had launched my book called The Sun in Myth and Art. And at that time, an idea had emerged that why not we bring it down to modern times and make a book on solar energy. You see, we have now brought out this book in 11 editions all over the world, including the Chinese. One journalist asked me, what is it that drives you to do these things at your age? Well, I said, for a moment I was taken aback, but then on reflection, I thought, in retrospect, that everything that from my childhood I did was connected with some kind of an ideal or a cause. When I was a teenager, I was imprisoned during Mahatma Gandhi's non-violent movement. It was a cause. During the pre-partition days, I worked for communal harmony between India and Pakistan in future, and that was the cause. And then I worked in refugee camps after the unfortunate partition of the subcontinent. It was again a cause. When I joined the Foreign Service, it was a cause too, because I wanted the unity of India built on those ideals of Mahatma Gandhi and Jawaharlal Nehru, of unity and secularism. Let me repeat that word, secularism, because that is what we fought for. And that was again a cause. And then, the reason that I have devoted myself to UNESCO since practically half a century, since my first book was published called India Painting from Ajanta Caves way back in 1954, with an introduction by Jawaharlal Nehru, was again a cause. And since then, I have not let it go. The solar energy has become a cause for me. I'm not just doing the book for the book's sake, but to really, I believe that the future of humanity, and especially for the poorer people in the world, depends very much on solar energy. And I think that that is what's keeping me alive today. Thank you very much.
As a person that has expressed his feelings, that has published a lot of books, and let me tell you that you are a very important son of India. I will congratulate you again, and I suspect that perhaps one day in the future, not necessarily in 3 years' time, but that I will present again another book of Mijets.
Forms to get the money and but nothing happened. Or you might say by God's grace that my son, who had by the time graduated from the MIT, set up a IT, information technology company in Boston. I realized that no country can prosper in a world of today, in a globalized world, without cooperation with, regional cooperation with its neighbors. That is why I put all the money I had into the South Asia Foundation. And therefore, and through education. Then I contacted all the vice chancellors of all these South Asian countries, Pakistan, Bangladesh, Sri Lanka, Nepal, all the 8 countries, and brought them together to design courses together, joint courses on environment. Why is it so necessary that all these South Asian countries must come together, work together, and go forward in peace and prosperity? So this is the whole story of my life, you can say. Not only for education, but for their future jobs, for their own training and so forth. And that is it. And I wish you all in my heart a great success in your life.
বাংলা জনম দিলায় আমারে বাংলা জনম দিলায় আমারে আমার পরাণ তোমার পরাণ একতারিতে বাঁধারে বাংলা জনম দিলায় আমারে মা পুতেরই বাঁধন।
I was the first person to do this master's program, South Asian Studies, in Pondicherry University.
I'm Salia from Pakistan. I've been awarded AmbMadanjeetBriefVide20 scholarship. This scholarship is for 1-year postgraduate course in journalism all over the world. It's a life-changing experience in terms of professional growth, and I really like it.
The Institute of Kashmir Studies, in a sense, continues this rich tradition of learning and scholarship. I congratulate all those who have worked towards the setting up of these.
All these 8 chapters are autonomous chapters. They are completely under the control of the chairpersons of the chapters in each country. We do not interfere how they implement it. How we do it is that we have an annual meeting where all the chairpersons meet together and report on the progress of the project which they had taken in the past, as well as put forward new projects they would like to do. But these projects must be interconnected. That means they are not only projects for each country. The whole idea is the South Asia Foundation is to bring the South Asian countries together through the media of culture, through art, through literature, music, and by any other interaction.
Our contribution is in the field of education. All these are issues that are covered by the 10 different institutes of excellence that Ambassador Madanjeet Singh has founded. At the moment, I must say, we depend entirely on the generosity of Ambassador Madanjeet Singh, who, as he himself has said, has dedicated his health, wealth and happiness to the future of South Asia. This is the institute that is most directly connected with promoting peace and development among the South Asian countries. This is the institute on which we would rely to ensure that all the countries of South Asia are educated about the great benefits to be obtained from converting confrontation into cooperation.
I consider myself being very fortunate in such august company dedicated to the cause of peace and development of South Asia. Ladies and gentlemen, it's a pleasure for me to be here at the UNESCO Madanjeet Singh Institute for South Asia Regional Cooperation for Peace and Development. I can think of no other individual who has invested more to achieve these cherished goals than my friend Madanjeet Singh.
I feel lucky to come here and study here. I'm still exploring the new campus life, new subject, and also the hostel life. And that scholarship covered my living expenses and travel expenses. So thanks to OSF Foundation.
I decided to apply for Save Madanjeet scholarship. I'm here to study development studies in Kathmandu University.
I'm Pratima Thakali and I'm from Nepal. Currently I'm doing my Masters in Visual Arts.
फिर आन सिकंदर बनियो आंदी पगया सर बेडे ते वे उदयान तमंगर बनियो जदा पंज दरिया ते
Actually, one thing I want to share with whole the world. When I was in Pakistan, I'm just Nadia Meherdeen. But because I got this opportunity and all South Asian Foundation people, they selected me. And now I did my work and they provide me some opportunities or scholarship. And now I am Dr. Nadia and very proudly. And that's why I think this is the South Asian Foundation which really good for scholars, students, and now because of South Asia Foundation, this Nadia, not Nadia, it's a Dr. Nadia Meherdeen. Thank you so much.
आप में जज्बा है
Anniversary of UNESCO by the Director General Koichiro Matsuura.
Madam Director General Irina Bokova, Your Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen. This is an unprecedented occasion for rejoicing as the UNESCO Madanjeet Singh Prize for the promotion of tolerance and non-violence is awarded for the first time by a very distinguished woman Director General of UNESCO. It is a special occasion also because since the UNESCO Executive Board established the prize in 1995, the laureates for the prize have mostly been women. Thank you very much.
As I thank UNESCO for awarding me the UNESCO Madanjeet Singh Prize for Tolerance and Non-Violence, I would like to thank and honour Mr. Madanjeet Singh for highlighting the link between tolerance and non-violence.
Shukriya, Dhanyavad.